Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the post-Thanksgiving edition of Birds vs. Boys. We have a Thursday night game that the Dallas Cowboys are playing. We have a 425 epic rematch of the NFC Championship game on Sunday that the Eagles will be playing in. And we are in the midst of a Cold War. We are on Shaq Leonard watch. Aiden, how are you? We have so much going on.
I'm fantastic. This is what we do the show for. This is the best weeks to do it. You don't need a script. You don't need bullet points.
Nope.
You just go. And I've been waiting for this preview since last January. I've been waiting a long time to talk about this game.
But unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer because that game comes last.
That's
So,
okay. That's okay. We were talking pregame or pre-show. I'm very excited the fact that the Cowboys and Seahawks are playing Thursday. I feel like the Thursday night schedule been a little light. So I'm,
yep,
I'm glad it's two good teams. Cowboys on a roll. Seahawks need a little boost. This would be huge for them. This turns into a pretty good game.
it does. But yes, the Cowboys are playing on Thursday night, but I don't even think that's where we need to start, Aiden. I think we need to start with Shaq, Darius Leonard. He Again, if you are under a rock here or don't know who he is a former all-pro linebacker from the Indianapolis Colts, has been released by the Colts, cleared waivers, which means the Colts have to pay him his $6 million the rest of this year. He's coming off 2 back surgeries, has some nerve issues, but if you did watch the tape this year, which I have, and I'm sure you have checked out some of it as well, Aiden, the man can still play. He had 11 tackles, 9 tackles, 10 tackles. He got in an argument with the Colts about his playing time, right? He was used to
Mhm.
playing 90% of the snaps. Now he was down to like 64, 70% of the snaps. I believe no matter which team he plays for, the Eagles or the Cowboys, um, that percentage is going to go up.
If he were with the Eagles, he'd probably be around 70%. I think he'd be around 70%. Uh Asterisk because Zach Cunningham is hurt. So if
Mhm.
Zach Cunningham's not there, he would. We don't really have much else. It's Christian Ellis and it's Nicholas Morrow, and there literally is like no one behind them at this
Big
point.
Dom.
We talked about this when he got released. Yeah, Big Dom, the security guard, is next in line to play
Mhm.
linebacker. It's either me or Big Dom, the security guard. That's all we have left at linebacker. If Cunningham, a hamstring injury, is worse than we think, and he'll probably be out this week. So I think his percentage would probably normally be around 70%, but given the situation, he makes it an interesting case for him to go to the Eagles. But again, Leighton Vander Esch, neck injury, out for ever. Uh,
Career.
Career, yeah. Also, great option for the Cowboys too. So this is an arms race.
It is, and it truly is an arms race for need for both teams, I would say.
Yeah,
Like you said, you're thin, you have injuries. The Cowboys, where do they need help? The run game. They don't have Leighton Vander Esch, like you said. Damone Clark has been playing very well this year. They've been using Marquise Bell as a hybrid safety linebacker who is one of the highest graded PFF players in the league this year, has been balling out. But they've also now have been having to have Micah Parsons play a lot more linebacker recently. And we like him on the edge. We like him rushing the passer, even though he's been disrupting the game a lot playing linebacker. But adding a guy like Darius, Shaq Leonard to that defense and what Dan Quinn, we've seen him be able to do and rejuvenate careers and put pieces in place, I think he would be a phenomenal fit for this Dallas Cowboys defense.
one. How funny was the thank you he got? He was at the Colts game after getting released. Don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
They
I
put
thought
him up
that
on the
was. I
screen.
thought it was cool. I was like, I'm here, might as well.
Mhm.
But
When I saw that they put him up on the screen, I was like, "Ooh, did that get okayed, or is that just like,
he was like,
hey,
"Well, I'm here," and yeah, I did. Jim Irsay say that was okay, but
he seems
honestly,
he seems like a great guy too, right? I mean,
yep,
he got cut from the Colts, and like literally an hour later was at his foundation giving out turkeys in
yeah.
Indianapolis. Like he's just one of those guys that you want in your locker and part of your organization as well.
I remember on Hard Knocks, he was a really good guy. I remember him being
Yep.
like one of the stars of the show that they'd follow around because he was in good spirits all the time. So it's another thing. It's like he would add to the locker room dynamic. I think it's similar for the Eagles as adding Sue and Linval Joseph last year around this time. Just add depth to a position of need, bring in a locker room guy. So I think it would be similar for the Eagles to do that. And Kevin, this is like the move that I tell you about all the time that I'm always okay with the Eagles to make. It's those low risk, high
Yep.
reward. You know, is he the all pro that he once was? No. But if he's 80% of that, this is a good move because,
If
like you
he's
mentioned,
80% of what he used to be, he's a top 20 linebacker still in this league.
he would be the best linebacker on our team. At 80%, he's still the best linebacker on our
Mhm.
team. And oh yeah, like you mentioned, the Colts are paying for this.
Yeah.
Like we'll be on the hook for like $2 million. You know,
Yep.
this
Yep.
comes down to really probably better fit because I don't think there's going to be a cost. I know money plays a part, but I feel like the cost structure on both contracts is going to be similar. Like I don't
Yes.
think it'll be more than just this year for either of us. I think it'd be around the same amount. And obviously, the Colts are on the hook for the majority of this. So it's like,
Perfect.
do you want to play for the Cowboys or do you want to play for the Eagles? And do you want to come on the show and talk about it?
Come on on.
Yeah, we
While
should.
while you were sitting at home contemplating your decision, why don't you just come on with us and we'll talk it out
No,
together?
I know this would be the perfect place. Birds versus boys. While they're birds versus boying for Darius Leonard. This is the perfect place to announce where you are
We'll
going.
make you the big portion of the screen on
Yeah.
YouTube. We'll be the small ones and we'll just mediate.
And whichever one you choose, we'll do like, the college kids choose the hats. On
Mhm,
YouTube, we have I'm on the green side, Kevin's on the blue side. We'll
mhm.
shift you to whichever one you choose. You'll be on the blue side or you'll be on the green side.
I think that would be a
I
perfect
love it.
option. And
I love it.
it's really funny too. Not only is it an arms race on the field. I don't know if you realize all the connections that he has with both teams, right?
He does.
In Philadelphia, obviously he was there when Nick Sirianni was there.
Yep.
Sirianni knows him well. He also trains with Devontae Smith in the offseason all season long. He apparently has 5 a.m. workouts with him every day in the offseason. And then with the Cowboys, he played with Malik Hooker in Indy. He's very close with Stephon Gilmore, who he played there, and Gus Bradley, who he's very close with, is a big proponent of Dan Quinn and pushing players like he did to Stephon Gilmore to play for Dan Quinn. So it's like he's getting pulled in both directions, both on the field and off the field. So it is going to be interesting when he signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was gonna say, so the Seahawks. The Browns, come on down.
But I truly believe December 10th, he will be playing at AT&T Stadium, either with a star in his helmet or an eagle on his helmet.
It might come down to winning this week and determines if you're going to be on the team next week. It'll be interesting
Mhm,
to see.
mhm.
Apparently, the decision's coming this weekend. I love it. I just think it'll be awesome. One way or
I
another.
fully expected the Eagles to sign him today and him be on the field against the 49ers.
I mentioned this. I was like, "Do you think he'd be on the field this weekend?" Last week, so I think, like you said, he'll make the decision this weekend. He'll be on the field next week. You don't be nicknamed the maniac and then be like, "Ah, I got to pick up the playbook." No, no, no. You just
Yeah.
go out there and tackle.
Yep.
You just
Just
hit
go.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it is funny too, and this will be my last point on Shaq. It's like Monday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday, Cowboys fans are like, we got him. He's ours. Jerry's having
Mhm.
lunch with him. Don't let him out of the building. He left. Every Cowboys fan's like, he's going to sign with the Eagles. All the Eagles fans see Dom. He's coming in the building. He's talking to Howie. He's
Can't say
not
no
going to
to
leave.
Dom.
He's ours. He left. And now Eagles fans are like, damn, he's really going to go sign with the Cowboys. And then Cowboys fans are like, no, he's really going to sign with you guys. It's like, what?
No,
But if you listen to the tea leaves and read between the lines, this is how it always was going to go. He said, and that's why I tried to tell Cowboys fans, like,
yeah.
I understand the don't leave the building mentality, but like he said, I want to make my visits and I'm going to go to more than one team.
They should have done what the Clippers did when they locked DeAndre Jordan in that house so Mark Cuban couldn't sign him. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was a wild free agency.
That,
Future presidential candidate Mark Cuban couldn't even land
that,
DeAndre Jordan. Now he's going to run the country. It's a little concerning.
that's like the movie Casino. You ever see the movie Casino?
Yes, been a
Where
long time though.
there's that like billionaire or whatever, and they have a private jet, and he like was up on the casino, and then they faked that the jet was broken, and then they like comped him a room for the night at the casino, and then he lost millions.
That's so funny.
So the jet doesn't work. Sorry.
It doesn't work. Ah, can't break in. Can't go see
Come on
Big
back.
Tom.
Come
I
on
did.
back.
I will say, I was worried that he was like he's going to the Cowboys, and then the Eagles may be interested, and it was like, are they, or is your agent trying to
Yeah.
start a bidding war so that the Cowboys do sign you. And the one thing that you mentioned at the top, he has had multiple back surgeries
Yep.
that were last year. It was not that far away, not the same guy, still talented, but not the same. And it's like, okay, where are we at? Where the truth is somewhere in the middle here, I
I
believe.
knew exactly when it came. I was like, because Sunday came out, like Darius Leonard's going to be visiting the Cowboys early this week. I was like, sweet. And then I'm watching the goddamn Eagles Bills game, and Cunningham goes down. I go, God damn it! I go, here come the Eagles.
I thought, yep, I knew it. Me and my friend said it right away. Monday morning, we are like, so Darius Leonard's an Eagle now. As soon as Cunningham left that game, it was literally, and that got lost. Like you didn't see him go off the field. So many chaotic things happen, and when the dust settled, you're like, oh, so we're getting Darius Leonard.
Cool. All right. Speaking of on-field action, I think that's 11 minutes of Darius Shaq Leonard talk. We will figure
Oh,
out very soon. And whichever team he does decide to sign with, one of us will make a video on here. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Birds vs. Boys Pod and listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Google, Apple, Spotify. Aiden
spot.
posted our Spotify numbers on the Instagram. I really appreciate the tag of me personally on your Instagram story, Aiden. Thank you very much.
I didn't post it. That's not me. I don't run the
You
Instagram.
didn't post, but yeah, but no, you posted one on your personal one, didn't you?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
tagged Birds vs. Boys Pod. Birds vs. Boys Pod.
Hi. I'm in
I
versus
know. Well,
boys.
I was tagging the podcast,
I know.
but I hold on. We're missing the point. The numbers were great.
Yes. The
Did
numbers are
you
awesome. And we
numbers
appreciate
were
all of
off
you.
the yeah, I was gonna say the engagement, the following increase, the listener increase is phenomenal to see.
Mhm.
And it's another, I remember it was positive last year and it was a big number, and it was positive again this year and it was a big number.
Yep.
That sustained leap is awesome. So it's
Growing.
really, really cool. Did you
So
get
make
your
sure you're and
Pandora? What?
I was gonna say, and the Twitter and the TikTok have been blowing up too. A lot of new followers on our Twitter. Make sure, I mean, if you want funny content about the Cowboys, about the Eagles, about the NFL in general, with a sprinkle of actual, news and links to all of our stuff. Make sure you're following us, Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, and TikTok as well, and Instagram.
Perfect. All of it.
All of it. We're there.
All of it.
We still have a MySpace too.
We should bring it back.
Huh.
Did
Somebody
you get
else.
your Pandora wrapped?
Do they have? I don't think they do that. Do they? Yes.
118 advertisements listen to this year
Hmm.
in
Hey,
between your songs.
listen. Bought a big house. You think my wife's gonna let me pay for Spotify?
That is the funniest thing to me, that you live in this nice house and you have Pandora for
That's
free.
how I live in a
The
big house, Aiden. I don't.
$9.99 charge for Spotify.
My wife does not let me spend money on anything. I
Alright,
have a lamp on the floor in here to make it brighter.
whatever works. It actually does work. That's the
It
funniest
does
part.
look a lot better.
It does, yeah, you're looking pretty
Studio
bright,
is
Mark.
being built out. Materials have been bought. Um, I just need my laborer to
So,
come
yeah.
to come over. All right, let's get into this Thursday night game. So you are correct. The Thursday night games have been a little laxed. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. When the Cowboys and the Seahawks play, it's usually crazy things happen, right? The Romo
Oh, yeah?
snap drop playoff game, the Romo to Terrence Williams on the sideline against the Legion of Boom to win that game. Couple years ago in the playoffs at home at AT&T, Cowboys win the game. So it's usually uh, they're usually good games. Usually at AT&T, the Cowboys get the best of the Seahawks, but it seems like they've been getting the best of everybody at home this year, right? And for a long time, 12
Yeah.
straight games at home. They're scoring over 30 points a game. Um, I, this is not going to be like it's been the last 3 weeks. I don't think it's not going to be a
Mhm.
cakewalk. It's not going to be a, blow out the Giants, blow out the
Commanders.
Panthers, and at hell, that Thanksgiving Day game, Aiden, is, I mean, not what I expected. I don't think what you expected either. I mean, we both, I think, were thinking there's a possibility the Commanders, I don't say win it, but like play, and they did. I mean,
Right.
Sam Howell threw for 300.
Yeah, barely though. Like it just bothers me. Like you have, we talked about this on Thanksgiving. You're in 3rd and 1. You're in shotgun twice. You run into each other in the formation on 4th and 1. It's like just just play.
Yeah.
I thought they did such a terrible job and a cowardly job, and they deserve to get stomped the way that they did. But the Cowboys, you make mistakes like that, and they're going to it avalanches quickly
Yep.
with a defense like that. Like if you make mistakes and you don't convert the 4th and ones, and you let Sam Howell get sacked, and you're in these 2nd and 16s, all of a sudden, like it just avalanches on you.
And I think that's what the Cowboys are gonna wanna try and do against Seattle,
Yeah.
right? They're gonna wanna try and get up early and then make Geno Smith press, and when
Mm,
Geno Smith presses, what happens? He turns the ball over, right?
with a bad elbow.
With a bad elbow, with no Kenneth Walker too, so they're gonna be down their RB1. We believe he's said is doubtful, but everything I've heard from Pete Carroll does not sound like he's playing in this game, so it's gonna be
No,
a player that you and I both like coming out, Zach Charbonnet. Um, so which means he's probably gonna run for like a buck 35 and 2
can't
touchdowns.
wait. But that it counts. The silver lining is it's our guy, you know?
Mhm, yep, so we were
I
right.
we were
I was
right. This
um,
sucks, but we were right.
so I think that's going to be the type of game that the Cowboys want to play. However, I do think this needs to be a more balanced approach because the strength of this defense for Seattle is on the back end, right? I think their cornerbacks, Woolen plays really well. Witherspoon
Witherspoon,
plays really well.
that
It,
kid phenomenal.
right?
Yeah, I
So,
think he might actually beat out Carter for defensive player of the year.
and we liked him too.
We did like him. We did
And
like him.
it's interesting too, like his interceptions didn't really come in college that much, but we knew, and it's translating to the NFL
Yeah.
though.
It was like everything else. We're like, "Oh, this kid's
Yeah,
physical. Like, he
yep,
creates havoc out there." And it's like, "Oh, now the turnovers are coming because he creates havoc out there."
there we go.
Yeah.
So
Remember his stats, like, his senior year, they wouldn't even throw to his side. Like, he
mm-mm,
didn't get interceptions because they just refused to throw
that was like Sauce Gardner in
in
college.
his direction. Yeah, like, there were no stats because he just pretty much existed in exile over there.
So I think what the Cowboys are gonna have to do is run the ball, and I think they can run the ball. The Even though when they made the move for Leonard, Seattle from the Giants, like their defensive run game is still pretty much middle of the pack, right? They try and if you get everything going one way and you kick the run back the other way, that's when they're really susceptible.
Mhm.
They try and jump those gaps. So I think the
Aggressive.
Cowboys are going to try to establish the run, and their run game has been being established a lot better recently. The offensive line, there's continuity finally. Tyron Smith has been playing phenomenally well. Um, you know, Terrence Steele on the right tackle, he was coming off that ACL injury. Zach Martin wasn't there for basically all of camp. So that right side of the line, they didn't get much prep together in the offseason, the beginning. And then Tyron was hurt. And then Tyler was hurt for a little while. Biotish was banged up. It now seems like, knock on wood, the offensive line is coming
Don't
together with continuity.
no.
I am not saying the GV. I'm not saying GV. I'm not even going to say the two words that you brought up last week. Okay. If you don't know what GV means, listen back to last week when we talk about the Eagles and the Bills game. Those words will not be spoken on this program ever again, Aiden.
Did you like my apology?
Yes, I did. But it
Don't
still does not atone for all of your sins.
don't get an offensive lineman hurt talking about
Nope.
good
Nope.
things happening.
But the only reason I'm saying this is because I think that's another reason why we've been seeing Tony Pollard looking a little bit different recently. It looks like he is running with a little bit more pop, a little bit more power, but it also seems like the lanes have been there for him from this offensive line. Yes.
One more thing on why he may be running a little bit stronger and faster and quicker. He broke his leg in this calendar year.
Thank you.
He
That
might
was
be
just it.
recovering from his broken leg
And a severe sprained ankle that needed surgery.
with ligament damage.
Mhm. So maybe things are healing in the medical world,
Yeah.
which is
Science
a
is
which is another good
crazy.
thing. So
It is a very good thing, though. It means that he's recovering.
and it's also good because we've seen what Rico Dowdle has been doing too. So to
I
have
love
that 1-2 punch, every time he touches, I love when he like touches the ball and he'll take a swing pass for like 19 yards and then they just take him out and then you don't see him again until the next quarter. I'm like,
it. Yeah, the Ravens have been doing this to Keaton Mitchell, where he comes in and you're like, who was that? It's like Flash in The Incredibles. You're like, wait, what just happened? And then you just don't see him for another quarter. It's the same with Dowdle. He has
Yep.
like you said, he has a 16-yard run. You're like, who the hell was that ran by? And then you just don't see him.
And it's literally that meme that we use on Twitter all the time where he's just waving going into the smoke. Like that's a great run, and then see you later.
See
It's
ya.
like it's like
Jake
Mike
Gyllenhaal.
McCarthy just hits him on the ass as he's coming. All right, hit the showers. Good run.
Good stuff. You've done your job.
But hopefully they can establish that run, have the balance, and then Dak can do his thing. Because I will say, I mean, Dak since week 6 has been balling out. I mean, I don't know if you listened even to Aaron Rodgers this week, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. He's the MVP or anything, but just the way he is playing the position is different than I've seen him ever play the position before. There's been weeks in his career where you see stretches like, okay, that looks good, but he looked good against the Eagles. He's looked good almost the entire season. So we'll
Okay.
see what. Why do you keep
I think he is a legitimate MVP candidate,
absolutely is.
right? Probably top 3. It's
And
probably
I think if they win this game heading into the Eagles game for sports books and betting wise, he's going to jump Patrick Mahomes. So it's
Mhm.
Hurts, Dak 1-2.
That is the moment. I was gonna say. So Lamar is on a bye week this week, so he'll probably drop just because he's not playing. Also, the Ravens, I can't. I just can't. It's just driving me nuts. They are. Their
Like,
offense just they could score 40 a week, and they
yep,
scored 12. And
yep,
it just I can't do it anymore. Uh,
agonizing.
but I'm just saying, like, there has to be the Heisman moment.
Hmm.
And it probably needs to come next week if he's going to win MVP.
Yep.
I agree with everything you said. He's been playing phenomenally and he's tearing it apart. And I hate when people are like, "Oh, it's against bad teams." Like, yeah, okay, but like if he so he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's just obliterating bad teams,
And
right? Like
not
I
all
don't.
good teams obliterate bad teams.
Yes. Like, and that was my whole thing. Like last year with the Eagles, it's like, oh, they're beating bad teams. Like, yeah, we're cooking teams by 30. Like, what do you want us to do? We're lining up and knocking everyone's head off. Like
Hmm.
Dak is doing that. That should actually be appreciated. If he was struggling on Thanksgiving against the Commanders, that is
Yep.
an issue. But he's
Yep.
not. Like
Yep.
it should be a good thing
Yep.
that he is just dicing these teams up.
Yep.
And it's like
So
looked at with an asterisk because their defense is bad. It's like, no, well, if their defense is bad, then you should perform and put up these
yes.
stats. And he
Yep.
is.
Yep. 100%. And this is still the NFL, right? There's still
Yeah.
NFL players that are getting paid. RIP Frank Reich. But it happens,
The Panthers.
dude.
They're
They
I mean,
fired everybody.
I was gonna say they fired everybody who was with the Eagles. I think they have a problem with us. Josh McCown, Deuce Staley, Frank Reich. What did we
Yeah.
do to you?
It's
That
but hey,
is just we don't have time for the Panthers. They're only no time.
my
Yeah.
dream, I think my dream is to be one of these big time coaches and just get fired. Like I would love
Yeah.
to be what's his name from Texas A&M.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, just
Oh
I'll
yeah.
never coach again. You'll never
No.
see me again.
Yeah, you don't have to recruit anymore, and you went 8-4 every year.
I don't have to deal with these assholes that are doing chants and dances at Texas A&M anymore, and I get $1 billion to just go home. Okay, bye.
Texas A&M is a little weird. Johnny
A little.
Manziel does not seem like a Texas A&M guy.
They're very weird. Did you see the Mike Elko press conference where they're like swaying?
Have you ever seen their like Friday night pep rallies?
Yeah, those guys that do. I don't understand it.
It's a step below the first episode of True Detective on HBO.
I think we need to have Jay Arnold on just for him to explain everything to. Like,
Because
can
he's
you?
the most normal, friendly
Yes.
guy of all time. What would they need to do is
Explain
study.
Texas A&M like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and Mike Evans and Johnny Manziel were at Texas A&M, and I don't feel like they fit Texas A&M at all. Also, Mike Evans is the savior of my fantasy football team. That guy he's gonna go over 1,000 yards again. He had 2 touchdowns again. And we talked about this. It was like Baker Mayfield. It's just like Manziel at A&M,
Yep.
where they're like, this guy's 6'5". I might as well throw it up and see what happens. And that's just what they do all game. And it works.
I put out a tweet this week saying I'm officially 12 weeks into my first fantasy football free year and I feel fantastic. And some account that has like 50,000 followers that I don't follow or follows me just tweeted back. It was like a fantasy football thing with just a gif of saying, "Come back."
Come back. We'll bring you back. We'll bring you
Maybe
back
one day, but I am enjoying it.
one day.
So that's the offensive side of the ball. It's got to be balanced. Try and get up early because then to the defensive side of the ball, you're going to make Geno Smith press. He's not going to have Kenneth Walker there, right? And at home, especially, this defensive line hunts and they get after it. And I think there's holes on this Seahawks line. I believe their guard is going to be out. I believe Jason Peters is going to be starting at tackle
Dear
again for them.
Lord.
So, just line Micah Parsons up against him like he can't move with Micah Parsons.
That should be a hate crime if they do that. That's ageism. You can't do that in the workplace.
My man's 42. Like he just
Why would
doesn't
you
want to go
wanna be
home.
out there, to be honest?
Huh?
Why would you wanna be out there? Like, I know every competitor doesn't wanna quit, but at some point, I think my body would be like, "I can't do this anymore."
I'm done.
Yeah.
His body tells him that every other play.
Yeah, every false start, his body's like, "Let me out of here."
I'm done. I'm done.
We were
Dumbass.
using the dying dog analogy in like our first year of the podcast
4 years ago.
20 years ago.
And now he's on Seattle.
Now he's on Seattle. He was on both of our teams since that point.
I will say, and this does not have to do with any players, but the one vibes thing that scares me a little bit
Oh.
is that the Seahawks are wearing those badass like 80s, 90s throwbacks.
Ooh, are they?
Yeah.
They should have done that last week, but yeah, that's awesome. They have
Yeah.
great throwbacks. They have great throwbacks.
Yeah, they
Also,
do.
mentality-wise, are you worried? So they are kinda in a desperate state,
Big
lost to the
time.
49ers, lost to the Rams the week before, kinda clinging to a playoff spot right now.
This is
We
this
kinda
is a season defining moment for them.
Correct. And we kinda saw with the Bills, like, I thought they played their best game of the season. I know that they lost, but it was kinda like, "All right, it's put up or shut up time. We gotta win this game if we wanna stay in the playoffs." I think the Seahawks are kinda in a very similar, mental state. Does
Yep.
that worry you at all that they
It
might come in and look crisp because of the desperation of it all?
it does because it's kind of like it's like a 3 or 4-sided perfect storm monster, right? Cowboys are gunshots again.
I don't know what it was. I don't know.
Another water main just broke.
I hope not. We're not gonna have any water. We barely have any as it is.
Um,
You could
so
probably smell me through this podcast. We don't have to I can't shower.
let's go outside and just run around in the air, just air it out.
Yeah, just air it out. Little
So
spit shine.
the thing of that scares me, it's like a four-headed monster of perfect storm, right? Cowboys have been playing so well against these bad teams. They're at home.
Mhm.
They know after so they could be kind of smelling themselves.
Yep.
After this, they have a quote unquote mini bye because they're playing on Thursday. So they have a mini bye to look towards their biggest rival in the Philadelphia Eagles, who they're chasing for not only the division, but possibly, you never know, a 1 seed, right?
True.
The other side of it is if they're not having that mentality, the Cowboys basically have 2 options to the playoffs, right? It's the 5 seed or the 1 seed. There's nothing in between.
The 2 seed.
They could get the 6 or the 7, but they're not getting higher. But if you look at who right now really is catching them for the 5? Like Seattle's too bad.
The
So
Vikings
I don't
are.
want them to have that mentality too. It's like, okay, like we're kind of locked in where we are, blah, blah, blah. And Seattle's kind of fighting for their lives. So yeah, that does worry me a little bit because it's that perfect storm. So that's why I need this team to just it's head down, go to work. You're not smelling yourself. You're at home. You've been playing, and that's the thing that scares me too. Is like
No one
everybody's
likes
talking about how well they play at home, how many points they score at home. They're undefeated at home. They're playing this game at home, and then they're playing Philly at home. So it's like, is that bubble going to burst at some point? I hope not, but it's always a factor.
I was gonna say, the other thing, I think in years past, they've gotten tripped up at the same point of the schedule. If you remember, there was a Thursday night December game in Chicago, lost
Hmm.
that game. Last year, Jaguars lost that game. I know this game's at home, so it's a little bit different, but it feels like there's a similar point in the schedule where it's like, all right, if we really put it together, we could catapult ourselves to the 1 seed. And then they lose one game.
Are you
It's
going to
like,
bring
"Oh,
up a Mitch
we're the other."
Trubisky loss to me right now?
Do you remember that though, right? Now
Of
it was
course.
the same point. It was a Thursday night game.
Was that
20
I think that was the moment, like, I was that the game where Jalen Hurts or I'm sorry, Jalen Smith, like, was, like, over the guy doing this and, like, he, like, tore his ACL in the end zone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh god, that was miserable. Yeah, I
2019.
remember that. Yeah, that was, like I think that, like, if Mitch Trubisky ever was, like, to his grandkids, like, "I played in the NFL," like, that's the game he's showing them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Miserable.
They won't
Thanks.
believe him.
Thanks for the vibes. Appreciate it. But
Back in
yeah.
my day, I got drafted over Mahomes.
Oh
Shut
god.
up, grandpa.
And my name was Mitch back then. Then I
Mitch.
changed it to Mitchell.
Shut up, Grandpa Mitchell. No,
Nerd.
you didn't.
Nerd. So yeah, that does scare me a little bit. And the main thing that does, I mean, those receivers can scare anybody, right? Metcalf, Lockett, and Smith and Jigba. So I think they're one of the only. I think they're only one of three teams that has three wide receivers over 400 receiving yards. So it's he can spread the ball around. But the thing is, I believe since like week 5 or something, he has more turnovers than he has touchdowns.
It
Jigba.
has not been good, and DK Metcalf has been non-existent.
Yep.
I know for that, I don't mean to make this a fantasy thing again, but people have not been thrilled with the output from the receivers of the Seahawks recently and the output from Geno Smith.
So
So,
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not. Maybe Duran Bland brings one back. I mean, did you see that from Metcalf? He's like, yeah, he's got more touchdowns than I do this year.
that is a wild stat.
He has
He
more
probably has
touchdowns, more yards than a lot of receivers.
I think he might have more touchdowns than Kyle Pitts his entire career. That is not a joke. I think he might.
It's insane. He's got more touchdowns than I think Devontae Smith this year than a lot of receivers.
Devontae close might have 6.
Does he have say? All right.
But still, the Pitts thing is hilarious. I can't get over it.
And wide receivers, how about Keenan Allen just blowing up to second in the league in yards this year?
I can get behind this movement of just like instead of projecting the next big thing, just no, just old reliable and throw it to him 100 times. Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, these guys have been around forever, and the quarterbacks are like, you know what's worked? Throwing it to this guy since the last 7 years. That's all that's worked, and I'm just gonna do that. It's
Mhm.
like when they try to invite, start crypto. Like no,
No, the
I'm not
dollar works.
crypto. You're not talking me in to somebody else. Like, I don't care. Like, this is not the Rashad Bateman breakout season. Just throw it to Mark Andrews because he's been there for 7 years and it's worked.
Just give me $100 bill. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just want $100 stone cold cash,
Yep.
and that's what Keenan Allen.
I have so many friends that lost so much money in crypto.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Stupid.
boy,
They're like, "You wanna get in?" I was like, "I don't even know what is it."
no,
What? So
no.
it's a coin, but you so do I get a coin? No, it's like in the thing.
But you never see it.
I still don't understand it.
I still don't really understand it, but I think that saved us a lot of money by not
Mhm,
understanding it.
mhm, mhm. So we'll see. Thursday night, 9-point spread. I think that's a generous spread. We talked about that before the game. I could see this being like a 30-24 type game. Um, Something like that. Cowboys don't cover, but they win. I think it's going to be closer than obviously the games have been recently, but I think it's a good kind of gearing up test before that mini bye, staying at home to then play the Philadelphia Eagles. But just do not look past the Seattle team because if you look past them with their season basically on the line, you're
Mhm.
going to get nipped.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like this. I hate the word trap game because
Mhm.
I think teams come prepared. It is their job after all,
Yep.
but I feel like this would qualify as
Yep.
the textbook definition of trap game.
Absolutely. So just go win the goddamn game, stay at home, rest up, and prepare to take on the Eagles, who hopefully have 2 losses and you have a chance to give them their third.
Maybe, maybe. Who knows?
Who you guys play? You got a game this weekend? I don't even know.
We have a game. It's somewhat big.
Mhm.
Oh boy. I don't even know where to start. I feel
Think
like the
Joey
hype
Bosa's going to show up?
Joey Bosa,
Are the Chargers playing this weekend?
he
That'd
got
be
hurt,
fun.
so he could. He's on injured
Oh yeah,
reserve.
that's right. He did get hurt. That'd be
Mhm.
really funny.
He could show up again. I listen. I got I don't even know where you want me to start. I have literally 8 months of material to start
You
with.
do your thing. I'm just going to sit here with a listen.
I have 3 speeches that I want to give to certain individuals. Who would you like to start with? I'll give you the options. I have a speech for 49ers fans, I have a speech for our fans, and I have a speech for the Eagles roster.
Start with 49ers fans.
Okay, we can do that. Like the Nutcracker. Good festive. We should do ugly sweaters. I got an ugly sweater recently. We
I got
should
an
do
ugly
that
sweater.
for the week after the
Mhm.
Eagles Cowboys game. Okay.
Oh, are we
49ers.
shaving our beards, by the way?
Why?
I don't know. Didn't someone tweet us and say whoever loses should shave their beard?
Oh, I forgot about that. Let's pretend like we did forget about that. I don't want to shave.
Me either.
Can we just go mustache at least?
Ooh. No, Movember's over. But yeah, we'll
That's what I
just.
thought you meant. I was like, oh, wait. I think it's like the 28th today. We might have missed it. Oops.
All right,
Whoops.
you may continue.
Speech 1, 49ers fans. I feel like Kamala Harris. Do not come. Do not come to this game. You have proven you are not mentally tough enough to attend games at Lincoln Financial Field.
Mhm.
We do not want you here. You claim we are monsters, so
Mhm.
do not come and be here.
Mhm.
Buy a TV on a Black Friday deal, sit down with your family, and watch a good football team. We don't want you here, and you claim we are horrible, so don't come. It's fine. I don't need to see you at the Rocky Steps and in the 5th most popular bar in Xfinity and taking a flag through the parking lot like you're storming up the hill at the Battle of Gettysburg. You're not. You're not going to take over the stadium. It's never going to happen. It just causes unnecessary drama. Let's make Sunday about 2 good football teams. You like your football team, think they're good. I like my football team. I think they're good. We
Mhm.
don't need you here. That radio station guy making up claims about how terrible we are. Don't come again then. Don't be here. That's it. Enjoy the game. It'll be a great game, primetime game, playoff atmosphere, but don't be a part of the atmosphere. Just watch at home. We don't want you here.
I agree. Um, do I want their fans to take over the stadium? Yeah, just because I want the Niners to win this game. However, um, I think Cowboys Nation, Philly fans can all agree. I think the worst fans in the NFL currently are the 49ers fans. They're crybabies. We've seen that against you guys. They literally make death threats. I've physically seen it. They made death threats to Sean Sharif on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas and his family when the Cowboys were playing them in the playoffs last year. I saw it even with Lord Brunson. He said he got multiple death threats, and they today, and the Niners fans have vaulted to the top of the worst fan base in the league. Um, you live in San Francisco, like you're not like what? Like, come on, like go to your tech job and shut up. Like I,
That's my whole thing. This is literally a show where the point is for me and you to argue, and what unifies us the most is how scummy 49ers fans have been. And just to play the victim
Yep.
after all the BS that you did is just insane to me. And then after all that, to be like, oh, Eagles fans, they were so horrible. They were so mean to me. Shut up then. Why are you talking about coming back? Don't
like
be
what?
here. If it was so bad for you, don't come back ever.
Is it your first day on Earth? We all know what Philly fans do at home.
You do know that, but I know opposing fans that have had a good time. Like, this is not hard to figure out. Did the Bills fans have a bad time? No. Kevin, you've gone to games as a Cowboys fan,
I
and
wear
it's
all.
okay.
You know why? Because when I walk into the stadium, people boo me, and I say, "Yes, I get it." And I say, "Everybody has their flaws. This one's just mine." They laugh, I laugh, everybody walks on. Or I go with my wife who wears a sign that says "with idiot" pointing at me. You have to have fun with it.
You wear
You're
that to the
not
grocery
playing
store.
in the game. Why
They
like why are we fist fighting over a football game? that the players are not fist fighting about, and they get paid millions of dollars.
Unless they lose, in which case they always start a fist fight
Yeah.
because just like your fans, your team is a bunch of sore fucking losers.
Mhm. Yep, especially Trent Williams.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to see Trent Williams go after the second string safety. Jalen Carter will be there at the end. That actually kind of leads into my next speech, which is for our team. Do not be a Jordan Phillips. So if you're unaware, Jordan Phillips on Sunday tried to fight a fan, lied about what the fan said.
Mhm.
Instead, the fan was actually just maniacally laughing at him. He tried to fight a fan, multiple dirty plays, cheap shots going low, and offsides where he took out Cam Jurgens, another play where he threw Cam Jurgens over the pile. His
Mhm.
emotions got the best of him in a big game. And instead of focusing on the play at hand to produce for his team, because of his emotions, he ended up being detrimental to his team. He could have hurt his own teammates physically, and he hurt the team in terms of penalties. The 49ers are going to come out. I don't care what they're playing on the boombox. I don't care who's leading them out of the tunnel. I don't give a fuck what Debo Samuel said when his ass was on his couch when we were preparing for the Super Bowl. I don't care about any of that. They're going to try to start a fight with you pregame. That's what they want. This is
Yep.
about football. Play football. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. We have the perfect quarterback who's never showed emotion in his life for that.
I saw him smiling at the Sixers game this week.
That was awesome. We won by 40. How about that? The Sixers got Jalen Hurts to smile. They love to antagonize.
That's what they do.
The locker room stuff with the boombox coming out of the tunnel.
We
They're going to
saw it 2
start with
years
you
ago
pregame.
against the Cowboys. They literally intimidated the Cowboys before the game even started.
Mhm. And I know this Eagles team, they're not going to be intimidated.
Nope.
The crowd's not going to be intimidated. Like the intimidation factor is not going to play. Don't let them antagonize you. Line up and play football because what hurts them the most and what we've seen with these post game fights that they always start, and it seems to always happen when they're losing. What matters most is winning on the scoreboard. That you know how much they care about this because they think that they were wrong last NFC Championship. If you beat them on the scoreboard, that's it. You had your chance. That's the beauty of sports. You had another chance. You don't succeed, that's it. Right? So it's
Yep.
just like play football. Don't be the guy who's over the top because your emotions got the best of you.
There's just no need for it. And that needs to start at the top with Sirianni, right? We see
Mhm.
Sirianni's he's
Jesus.
very emotional. Um, he likes to yell, he likes to scream, but this is a moment where
I
he
would.
needs to get control of his team.
Yep.
And I think a perfect pregame speech of this would be him saying, "I'm going to hold myself accountable at the top to keep my emotions in check. Obviously, the emotions are going to be very high in the stadium. This is a rematch. I have emotions. You guys have emotions. I'm going to keep mine in check. You need to keep yours in check." If it
Mhm.
starts at the top from him, I think that will rumble down to the leaders of the team, like Jason Kelsey and Brandon Graham. It doesn't matter. And then that is going to flow into the rest of the team.
Exactly. I actually think that's really good. Where his speech is the combination of what we just said. I was like, just play football, beat them on the scoreboard. You're like, it starts with me. I'm not going to be emotional. I'm going to be locked in and focused.
Yep.
And you know that'll trickle down. Jalen Hurts, like we talked about, nothing is going to get to him. But the leaders of the team, like they've seen everything at this point. Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox is hopefully out there. I know we haven't gotten into the analysis of this game. Like everybody on this team has just Lane Johnson, if he's out there, like these guys have seen everything. I don't think that they get wavered by stuff like this. So play football, win on the scoreboard. That's all I'm asking.
Jalen Hurts shaking his head while Jim Kelly made that field goal was hilarious.
So funny. I was jumping up and down in my living room, and he's
He's
just like,
just like,
yeah.
he was just pissed they didn't score a touchdown.
The way that was going, should have never been a 59-yard field goal. I was actually thinking touchdown at one point. After the Devontae Smith catch, I was like, all right, we're in good shape. Like, we still have a timeout. Whoa, it got ugly in a hurry.
Funniest thing in the world too with that. I don't think I told you this at the end of that game. There was right before that drive for the Eagles to go down and tie it. I was like, my daughter was ready to go up. She's like, up, up, up. She want to go to bed. I said, all right. I said, my wife's watching. We're watching the game. I said, I'll go up. I'll take her to bed. You stay down there. Got her upstairs, getting her ready. Lisa's watching the game, and mommy, mommy, mommy. Oh, she wanted. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, Lisa. She's like,
Oh,
are you kidding me right now? So I was
oh
like,
man.
just pause the game. So I was like, as I fall down, I'm like, just pause the game. So she paused it, and then she took care of it. And I'm like, I like looked on my phone. I'm like, oh, it's 4th and 17. Sweet. And I was downstairs, and then I like saw that they kicked it. I'm like, God damn. And then she went over and she put it on, and she's fast forwarding. She's like, you know what happened, don't you? I'm like, she's like, yes, you do. I'm like,
Yeah. Dude, there's no way. I definitely didn't check my phone.
no.
That'd be crazy.
So and then she's like, well, what? I'm like, I know one thing that happened.
One little 59-yard thing that
And then she's like,
happened.
well, why don't you tell me? I'm like, well, because I don't know the end of the game.
True. There a lot happened from the 59-yard field goal. So
Mhm.
you were
But
correct.
that Brandon Graham saying it doesn't matter was hilarious.
I caught it live and I thought it was really funny. I don't know if you heard you might
No,
have
I
heard the
didn't see it
Jersey
live.
pod, but I heard it live and I was just like, that's funny. And in my head, I was like, this goes one of two ways. Either he's on freezing cold takes, or this goes viral for calling it.
Yep.
And it went viral for calling it, which was awesome.
Mm.
It don't matter. That's my there. We could do an hour-long podcast on the 49ers Eagles. It's summed up to it don't matter.
Mhm.
Play football.
Mhm.
Also, finishing on that, and I'll go into my third speech. If James Bradbury gets a pick, this stadium may collapse. It's going to be louder than the pick six in the NFC Championship in 2017 if he gets a pick.
Yeah. That yeah.
He uh if you lined him up and said talk, could you tell whose voice it was? Like, could you even tell what his voice was
James
like?
Bradbury?
James Bradbury, yeah. No, right? Like he's the quietest, just like
Mhm.
unassuming guy ever. He's
Yep.
the most like normal, especially because the corner on the opposite side talks all the time.
Yep.
And I don't know why Bradbury has been the target of all this vitriol. Debo Samuel called him trash multiple times. Brandon Ayuk saying that they were going to expose the Eagles defense. It's just like, how did Bradbury get in the middle of this?
I think 3 plays that the stadium would collapse on would be that, a Bradbury pick, a, like, end around that Debo takes, and Jalen Carter just ends him into the ground,
Yeah.
and a strip sack fumble on Purdy from Hassan Reddick.
That is a great power ranking three. That is absolutely a top
Stadium
three.
blows up.
An honorable mention. Fourth quarter push. We've
Yep.
become this like villain. Everyone hates this team. There's enough hate between these two teams. It is just lining it up and just, you know what? Screw you one last time for the touchdown. That place will go nuts.
But go 49ers, sorry.
I can't. Well, I know you have to root for them, but I also know that you feel similar
Oh,
about them.
I hate the yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes it tough sometimes in sports. Like, I have no reason to root for you aside from the math tells me I have to root for you because I
Literally, it's
don't
math.
like you. It's the meme where it's like the worst person you know just made a great point.
And you know what's crazy too is like I don't like if the Cowboys get the 5, they're gonna play the South, so probably
Awesome.
Atlanta, and then they would go to Philly probably.
To where?
To Philly, most likely, if Philly's the one, depending on who would win the others. If a 6 or 7 happened to pull an upset,
That's what happened last year.
it would be
Yeah.
because it would be 5 versus 4, 7 versus 2, 6 versus 3.
I can see
One
the
gets the
Vikings.
bye.
You can see the Vikings beating the Lions in the first round a fucking mile away, can't you?
Oh
That's
god,
just
would love it.
screams upset.
Well, then
Depending
you
on
would get
where
the
the
Vikings.
like if the Vikings were the 6
Yep.
and they played the Lions through the 3, mile away, you see that upset coming.
Yeah,
That's
here
not
we
even.
go. And then here comes Joshua Dobbs rolling into the link.
Mhm.
God,
No,
please no.
that actually based on how Philly sports have gone, that would
No,
be a
no,
disaster.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah?
no,
How did our
no.
baseball season end?
Yeah,
Did
okay,
we lose
okay.
to the
That's
Dodgers, the Braves, or the
okay.
Diamondbacks?
How many times have we seen the Vikings come into the link with
True.
Case Keenum and now Joshua Dobbs? Get the fuck out of here.
If it was another team, if it was like if it was the Lions, I feel like
Yeah,
this could be a disaster. The Vikings, there is a lot
just
of
play
statistics
just play
that prove
chess or something instead. Maybe it'll be more entertaining.
He's got to go back to NASA for that one.
Oh God.
All right, one last rant. This one's the most important, and it should be the one every week. Eagles fans, don't be that fan.
Mhm.
Don't 65,000 in there, 64,999 are going crazy, having a good time, keeping it clean. Don't be that one guy because the one guy ruins it for the rest of us. You're the one who goes viral. You're the one that makes them point at us and go, "Oh, look, see, told you. I told you they were terrible. I told you they were pathetic people. I told you they were ignorant." Don't be the one who gets all of everybody else in trouble. Be loud, be engaged. Don't be over the top. That gets you in trouble.
Like, I hate that I'm going to say this, but like, as a Eagles fan, like emulate your team, right?
Yeah,
Look how your team acts.
I feel like
The
I'm
Eagles
getting
team
like
doesn't
that.
act like the 49ers, right? On the
No.
field, being they're bullies on the field, but like look at your leader in Jalen Hurts, in AJ Brown, right? Even young Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. Like
Mhm. Josh Sweat.
be like them, which
Yeah.
means be engaged, like you said, loud, involved, but you don't have to be that guy.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be that
They
guy.
don't even want you to be that guy. You can be loud. That's it. Don't be over the top.
Yep.
But you're right. I feel like I'm getting like that. Maybe it's maturity in life, but I in that Bills overtime game, I was celebrating when we scored the game winning touchdown and on that 59-yard field goal. But aside from that, I'm just like this
Mhm.
straight up face. I was just like, just talking about the plays, but nothing was
Well,
yelling,
I think it's
screaming.
also I think you're now starting to expect it, right? The last 2 years, like
Yeah, yeah.
you're not I don't wanna say learning how to win. The Eagles have been pretty good your entire life and pretty consistent for the
Mhm,
most part, but I think the last 2 years has been almost on a different level, and you expect them to win, and I think you're also it you may subconsciously not realize it, but what I just said, emulating the leaders on the team.
mhm. It is the Jalen Hurts effect, and it's the point I've been trying to make to people is they're looking at stats at the end of the game, and you're like, I'm like, you don't get it. Like, there's a mental toughness aspect of this that is so important in sports because if you lined up Justin Herbert's numbers versus Jalen Hurts numbers right now, I would bet you Herbert's might be better. But there's a reason that that team's 5-6, and there's a reason that the Eagles are 10-1.
Well,
It is
and
the Hurts factor of the mental toughness that he provides.
that's the thing too that I just this makes me fucking so furious about Twitter. Like mid game, there's people tweeting, and it's in my fan base during the Bills and the Eagles game.
Oh, never assume.
Like you are a quarter and a half into the game, and they're screenshotting Hurts' stats. Like, this is your MVP? No, can't be. And
Do
I'm
it.
like, why are you doing that right now? And then he's got 5 touch. I'm like, what? Just like why? This we have a podcast called Birds vs. Boys, and I'm not tweeting about the Eagles all game when the Eagles are playing. Like, I don't understand.
You gotta see the finished product. You can't count the votes. Stolen election, a lot of votes coming in overnight. Can't count them before they're done.
I got I got nutcracker hair all over me
You
right
gotta
now.
keep that thing though.
Nutcracker?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like
I
it.
got it all over the
Festive
place.
little thing. I gotta get one. Oh, look, I can't see it now, but I got a little new little
Look
Hertz figurine
at
from
this
my
guy.
grandma. Yeah.
Love
Listen,
it.
we're 1-0 in the Hertz figurine era. So
Shout out grandma.
yeah, grandma came through clutch. This thing's awesome. Um, yeah, but I just the mental toughness factor is
Mhm.
just I think that's why I'm just like I never get too high or too low during a game because I'm like it's funny in a good way and a bad way because I'm always like, yeah, with Hurts they can do anything, and I'm like, with this
Yep.
offense they could do nothing. Like we could be up 14 against the 49ers. I'm not going to be doing jumping jacks for joy.
No.
I gotta. They've gotten really away from that, like executing in the fourth quarter, having that 5-minute drive that ends in points, kind of putting the final nail in the coffin. That game went to overtime because they got the ball back up 28-24 with 7 minutes left, and the Bills went on a 5.5-minute touchdown drive.
Yep.
Like they could have lost that game right there because of their lack of execution on offense. So there's time still. where it's like we need to execute better. We need to be smoother. I think there's a lot
And
of good things that they do, and there were a lot of good things they did in that second half. But
and
and they made
even
great second half adjustments too.
even on that game tying drive at the end, Jason Kelsey having 2 penalties, right,
Yeah,
for fault, like,
weird.
and then all of a sudden it's 4th and 17, and you're making Jake
Like
Elliott
42
have a 60-yard field goal to tie the game.
in a driving rain. Oh, by
Yep.
the way, it's gonna rain again on Sunday. What
Is
what
it really?
is going on? It doesn't rain here, and this is our fourth rain game of the season, third straight.
Yep,
Just that's a little brutal.
it is.
Yeah, so, just kinda be clean, but I think this is another game where you don't have to there's no speech you have to give in terms of getting your team up for this game,
Yep.
you know? Like, they'll be focused, they'll be locked in, and with Lane Johnson back, you obviously feel a lot more confident than you can play a clean game, and I touched on this. They looked awful in the first half, and the first drive resulted in 3 throwaways, but you script your first 10 to 15 plays. When they scripted those, they thought Lane Johnson was in the game, and then
Mhm.
they woke up morning of the game and he wasn't there, and I was like, "All right, well, like
This might not work.
that's not the same plan that we had when we started." So I think it's a little bit different this time around.
Did you see somebody, send a message to Lane Johnson's girlfriend?
Yes, that was funny. She
"Are
just
you
responded
season
with
for it?" Never mind.
yeah, she just responded with
Yeah,
laughing
laughing.
crying emojis.
Yeah.
That wasn't a no.
Good for him.
Pop some scar tissue. Is that
Mhm.
what the kids are calling it these days?
Mm. 'Cause one of my I sent you that text a couple weeks ago to one of my doctors, and I know. Did you see that? He's a urologist, and he had to.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, thank you.
That used to be like the 1,000 Ways to Die. It'd be like brutal stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm,
That used to freak me out. Uh,
mm, mm-mm.
uh, quick game thing.
Yep.
I know I touched on like what the fan code of conduct for 30 minutes. One game thing is how they plan to corral Christian McCaffrey. One, we do a good job of jamming up the inside. We do a good job of jamming the running game on the inside, is what I should say.
Mhm.
Um, the Bills did a great job in the rain of trying to make it a little bit more efficient, get the backs involved in the passing game. Goes without saying that the 49ers are going to try to do that with McCaffrey, one of the best, probably the best patch catching back in the league. And it kind of put the Bills in fortuitous situations where they were in 3rd and 2s instead of 3rd and 9s. So, how do the Eagles plan on containing him is a big thing. Is Blankenship going to be playing up towards the line? Stuff like that, you know?
I think in this game, and this is not the game where you want your linebackers playing your 4th string linebacker. So I
The
think
best.
with that, you're gonna have to have Reed playing up close.
I think so. Also, not only that, but Fletcher Cox, I don't know if he's going to play. So, having
Is
2
Jordan
starters
Davis
out.
okay?
Jordan Davis is good to go. Yeah, he was fine. He was just listen, man, he
Dude,
got a little gassed. I saw
he's a big dude.
Devontae Smith post game. He's like, "That's big man. That's a big fall." You hear, his like country accent. It was
Yep.
so funny. That's a big man. That's a big fall. Got
I
the
was I was watching him walk up the tunnel after that game. I'm like, that dude is just gassed.
gassed. But I know I do this like every week, and it's
Like, how good
totally
must that have slept? How good do you think that sleep was that Sunday
yeah.
night for him?
Well, yeah, he was knocked out. He was a slumbering, hibernating bear.
How
But
big must his bed be?
oh, double queen king size. It's probably just an entire room.
A double California king.
Double California king with extra padding support. I know I touch on this like all the time, but it's so important in a stretch like this, playing a good team week after week. But to have guys like Jordan Davis who have played in every big game imaginable, who are busting their ass to the sideline, going 16 miles an hour after a mobile quarterback and laying it out on the line and knowing what it takes to win is just so important. It is
Mhm.
so important to have guys like Carter and Davis who played as many snaps as they did on Sunday, and guys like Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith who made big plays on offense, and they do all the time because they've been here a million times. It's so important to have those guys because it leads to plays like that. Like if you look at it, like Jordan Javis, caught Allen on the sideline, and you're like, aha, it's funny because he's big. He saved them
Yep.
to make them kick a field goal.
Yep. Literally. Think about that because he
Yeah,
knew. I mean, he that's you can't teach that type of effort. That's just in
no,
you or it's not.
it's championship level effort, and it's just so important in these games. And really excited to have them on the team. And just one thing on the offense in terms of analysis. You saw what they were doing in the second half, trying to get DeAndre Swift to the outside. Once they started doing that, they started getting the play action involved. Even hit Jack Stoll, the tight end. Dallas Goedert might play this week. He's pushing. I would not be shocked if he was. If
Insane.
he was out there. It's crazy
I
for
think
the
he'll
guard.
definitely play against Dallas.
That is the report. He is pushing to play this week. He will be out there for Dallas. So I think him in that kind of thing, what they found and trying to bounce DeAndre Swift to the outside with those like zone runs and then utilizing play action, getting it to the tight end. Then everyone's like, your eyes are up in the backfield. All of a sudden, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are behind you. Is that what they try to utilize against the 49ers? I would not be shocked to see that again.
I wouldn't be either. And if I'm an Eagles fan, um, Brian Johnson, don't get my quarterback killed against these linebackers in this game.
Yeah, if Fred Warner attacks Jalen Hurts, I'm going to be very mad at Brian Johnson. Like, buddy, you're
Fred
you're
Warner
getting
and Dre
more.
Greenlaw.
Yeah,
And
that
and if I'm Jalen Hurts, get the fuck down.
yep, or get out of bounds.
Yep.
Also, though, like when you're running towards the out of bounds and you have the ball in your hand, you can throw the ball out of bounds. Like you don't have to take a 3-yard sack and run
And
out of bounds like he did on Sunday.
that
Just
type
throw
of
it out.
play always confuses me.
He's done that multiple times, and it just makes he's such a smart, heady player, and then he takes a 3-yard loss for no reason. And like, what are you
And
doing?
then you're like, now we have why 2nd and 13.
Yeah, why is it 2nd and 13? All you had to do, you literally could have underhanded the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
It's odd that he does that,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to complain.
No.
He's
No, you're not.
99 times out of 100, he makes the right play. I'm okay.
So we have 2 big games. Both Cowboys and the Eagles heading into next week's Birds versus Boys game in Dallas. I think both of these games are going to be phenomenal.
Oh,
Um, I really hope because I really enjoyed last Sunday's football games. It's nothing better than your
good.
team winning on a Thursday, and then you can just enjoy the football. Well, especially this week, and enjoy all of the college championship games on Saturday, and then the big games on Sunday.
Oh, baby. I talked about it last week. Good football time of the year.
Yeah,
Championship
absolutely.
Saturday, college
Birthday
football.
party all afternoon on Saturday.
Woof. Are there like other families there? Like you're like, "Ooh, we could throw the football game on the background.
Well, I'm not bringing my child. My kid's staying at grandma's house.
You're going
1-year-old
to
birthday parties are like more for adults. Not for my. It's a friend's first birthday party, like one of our friend's son's birthday
your 1-year-old is not going to the 1-year-old birthday party.
during nap time.
So you go to a 1-year-old's birthday party.
It's at
without
like a
your-
restaurant. It's not like at like Chuck E. Cheese. So
I won't
first
have to
birthday
worry.
parties are more for like the adults,
Okay.
and then once because the kid doesn't, the kid's like that.
Well, yeah.
Besides when they eat the cake. So yeah, no,
I have so much to learn. It's insane.
I will teach you one day.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the Thursday night game for the Cowboys. Enjoy all of the games, including the 49ers and the Eagles on Sunday. If you are a 49ers fan, don't be an idiot.
You are.
You are an
Alrighty.
idiot, but that's okay. We are over the hour mark, which our producer always wants to kill us about. But hey, there is a
No.
lot going on this game. We don't care. This is the type of time in the season where we need to talk, and that's what we do. So tell your friends, tell your family. I know the show is called Birds vs. Boys, and I know this episode we talked mainly just Birds vs. Boys, but we do cover the entire NFL from draft to Super Bowl and everything in between. So tell your friends, tell your family, Birds vs. Boys. It's not just a show and a content network for Eagles fans or for Cowboys fans. If you like football, hey, if you even like football, subscribe. Okay. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, and anywhere you listen to your podcast. We are there with full episodes as well. watch out for the Cowboys recap show from me on Friday, and Aiden's dropping either Sunday night or Monday after the Eagles game.
First thing Sunday night, I'll have it. It'll probably be unhinged one way or another. 49ers fans, let's make it about the football. Let's enjoy two good teams. Let's keep it to the football.
Enjoy the games, everybody, and hey, Shaq.
No.
Oh, Jackie. Come on.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.